Hello? 1 minute.
Yes, ma'am.
Share this. Ah. So before moving on to today's topic, as continuity of previous session, we will see what is stress path. So stress path ante enti? We know that we can conduct triaxial test on soil. 1 minute. Is my screen visible to you? Hello?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, fine. See, if we conduct triaxial test, see here, and if I plot the normal stress versus shear stress, see, first my cell pressure or the confining stress is sigma 3 or sigma c, and deviator stress I will be applying sigma 1 minus sigma d. From that I will calculate my major principal stress sigma 1. Okay, and then let me draw the Mohr circle. Draw proper Mohr circle. And then if I keep on, see, this is for first trial. So in the second trial, what am I going to do is, I will keep my cell pressure constant, but I will increase my deviated stress. So then my circle will shift like this. If I keep on doing this, so further I will increase my cell pressure. Sorry, further I increase my deviator stress, keeping my cell pressure constant. Then I will get different Mohr circles, no? So cell pressure anedi 50 kPa or 100 kPa, whatever it is, I'm maintaining it constant. For the same soil sample, I'm increasing my deviator stress alone. So sigma 1 component alone will be increasing. So first trial appudu sigma 1 unte, second trial appudu sigma 1 dash, and then it will be sigma 1 double dash. So I'll get different major principal stress. So I will get different Mohr circles. So my Mohr circle is shifting towards the right hand side. And for each and every circle, how much will be the maximum shear stress? Where the maximum shear stress will be. See, what is Mohr circle? Mohr circle actually represents the stress acting at any point on the soil mass. So each and every point along the Mohr circle will give me normal and corresponding shear stress. So here you can see different normal and corresponding shear stress is there. So first case ఇది తీసుకుంటాం sigma 3 sigma 1 case. So how much would be the maximum shear stress and where it would be? ఈ circle maximum shear stress ఎక్కడ ఉంటది? Where the maximum shear stress would be. So ఈ పాయింట్ లో shear stress ఎంతమా? 0. Tau equal to 0 kada. So tau is equal to 0. Then it is keep on increasing, right? So where will it be maximum? Here. So if it has to be maximum, then it forms the radius of your Mohr circle, right? So ఇది ఒక maximum shear point. In the same way, for the second circle, so its center will be somewhere here, and its radius will be here. Okay, so maximum shear point ఇక్కడ achieve అయ్యి ఉండొచ్చు, and for this circle also maximum shear point will be somewhere here. So if I join all the maximum, 1 minute. So if I join all the maximum shear points, then I will get my stress path. Okay, so ఇప్పుడు ఇక్కడ maximum shear point ఉంది ఇది, and then this one. So if I keep on increasing my deviator stress, then my Mohr circle will shift towards the right. Okay, and the line joining the maximum shear stresses will give me the stress path. Okay, so ee stress path ever ichcharante Lambe has proposed this maximum stress path. So maximum shear stress ante shear stress enta undali. So from your Mohr Coulomb failure envelope or from your stress principles for soil, what is the equation for sigma and what is the equation for tau from major and minor principal stresses? So we derived yesterday, right? So first let me write for sigma 1. Sigma 1 is equal to sigma 1 plus sigma 3 by 2 plus sigma 1 minus sigma 3 by 2 cos 2 alpha. If sigma 1 and sigma 3 are major and minor principal stresses, then shear component will not be there. So only normal stresses will be there. Only this major and minor principal stresses will be there. So in the same way, tau is given as sigma 1 minus sigma 3 by 2 sin 2 alpha అని చూసామనినా. So now what am I claiming? My shear stress is maximum. If my shear stress is maximum, what does it mean? This one will attain the maximum value. So the second equation will attain the maximum value. So the second equation ki maximum value ravalante, what is the criteria? What is the criteria for your plane inclination? Sin theta enta undali? What is the maximum value for sin theta? See, I need to get tau max. So to get maximum shear stress, this sin theta must be equal to 1. Sin theta 1 undali. So if sin theta has to be 1, then only I will get sigma 1 minus sigma 3 divided by 2. So this is my maximum shear stress. Appudu sin theta 1. Here theta is 2 alpha. So sin 2 alpha is equal to 1 minute. Right. So sin 2 alpha is equal to 1. So if sin 2 alpha is equal to 1, how much is your alpha? Sin theta eppudu 1 ayyiddi. How much is sin 0 is equal to? Sin 0 is 0. When will you get sin theta as 1?
Sin
90. Very good. Sin 90 degree gives you 1. So your 2 alpha is equal to 90 degree. Kada? Then what is alpha equal to? 45 degree. So if your plane under consideration is inclined at an angle of 45 degree, then you will get maximum shear stress. So your maximum shear stress value is sigma 1 minus sigma 3 by 2. So here also you can witness that. If this point indicates the maximum shear stress, this point is actually radius of the circle. So radius of the circle is the maximum point untadi, maximum value ustadi. So how much is the radius of the circle? Sigma 1 minus sigma 3 divided by 2. So here the value is sigma 1 minus sigma 3 divided by 2. So ఇప్పుడు సెకండ్ కేసుకి వచ్చేటప్పుడు సిగ్మా 1 డాష్ వస్తుంది, ఇక్కడ సిగ్మా 2 డాష్ వస్తుంది. సో లైక్ వైస్ ఇక్కడ 150 kPa, 200 kPa, 250 kPa అలా ఉండి ఉండొచ్చు. ఓకే, సో కుడ్ యూ అండర్స్టాండ్? సో ఇఫ్ యువర్ shear stress has to be maximum, then 2 alpha must be equal to sin 2 alpha must be equal to 1, then alpha is equal to 45 degree. If your shear stress is maximum, how much is your normal stress? Just substitute this 2 alpha into this equation. So 2 alpha ki 90 degree veskondi. ఏమైంది? So if I substitute 2 alpha equal to 90 degree, then what happens? How much cos 90 degree equal to? 0, right?
0.
So the second term totally cancels. So at maximum shear stress, how much is your normal stress? So average of your principal stresses. Shall I say like that? ఎందుకంటే సెకండ్ టైం మొత్తం క్యాన్సిల్ అయిపోతుంది. So your sigma, so your sigma is equal to sigma 1 plus sigma 3 divided by 2 plus sigma 1 minus sigma 3 divided by 2 cos 2 alpha was there, but this cos 2 alpha has become 0. So at maximum shear stress, your sigma normal stress would be sigma 1 plus sigma 3 by 2. Okay, so this is the condition. So what is stress path then? So stress note, stress path which indicates the behavior. It is a curve showing the changes in stresses as the load acting on the soil specimen changes. So this path indicates how the stresses acting on the soil changes when you keep on increasing the load. So deviator stress is nothing but the load applied on the soil. So field lo chuste the vertical load which comes because of your building construction. So when you keep on applying the load, how the stress acting on the soil changes. So that will be indicated by the stress path. So stress ela change avutu vastundi. Okay, so that will be indicated by stress, the stress path, and this stress path was actually proposed by Lambe, and Lambe's stress path is the most common stress path used in soil mechanics. Okay, so a blue color line anedi stress path, and see we have found that this stress path is drawn for maximum shear stress, right? So instead of drawing the complete circle, it is sufficient to draw only the line joining the points of maximum shear stress when you increase the loading. So అప్పుడు ఏం చేయొచ్చు అంటే just take a graph and draw the points just joining the maximum shear stresses. And there will be number of points along this line corresponding to different stress conditions. Okay, and in this path, if something is called as path, then you have to indicate the direction also. So it is increasing in this way, no? So I will be indicating an arrow mark like this on my stress path. And see, here we have taken tau, and that to maximum shear stress is taken. So what is tau is equal to maximum shear stress is sigma 1 minus sigma 3 by 2. And what is your normal stress when your shear stress is maximum? So your normal stress sigma is equal to sigma 1 plus sigma 3 divided by 2. But in soil mechanics, since it is maximum, అప్పుడు మనం దాని shear stress అని సింపుల్ గా రిప్రజెంట్ చేయకూడదు కదా. So that's why while drawing the stress path, this maximum shear stress is represented by the letter small q. And ఈ normal stress ni P అని మెన్షన్ చేస్తారు. P and Q are used to indicate normal and shear stresses. Okay, here it is a maximum shear stress experienced by the soil. Okay, so it's a straight line actually, it's not a random line, it's a straight line. Okay, so now this stress path, here we have drawn it for total stress condition. So sigma 1 sigma 3 కి డైరెక్ట్ గా డ్రా చేసాం. సో we can, if you change the condition, suppose if you measure the effective pressure, you can draw stress path for effective stress condition also, and also at the same time you can, 1 minute, did I start recording? Yes. Okay. So even you can draw it for effective stress condition, and also you can draw it for total stress minus static core pressure condition. So shall we write what are the condition to which you could plot the stress path? So the first condition is effective stress path. So ESP, effective stress path ante actual ga మనం ఏం చేసాం, sigma 1 plus sigma 3 by 2 plus comma sigma 1 minus sigma 3 by 2 కి ప్లాట్ చేసాం. సో effective stress path అంటే ఏంటి? So instead of total stress, I have to take effective stress condition. So sigma 1 dash plus sigma 3 dash by 2, comma sigma 1 bar minus sigma 3 bar by 2. So this is the effective stress condition. And the next condition is total stress path, which is already discussed here. So sigma 1 plus sigma 3 by 2, comma sigma 1 minus sigma 3 by 2. And the last condition is total stress path minus static core pressure condition. So you will be taking the total stress path, and then you might have measured the core pressure while conducting the triaxial test, or in the field also you might have measured how much amount of core pressure is building up when you are applying the load. So if you measure that and if you subtract it, then you will get the third condition. So sigma 1 plus sigma 3 by 2 minus static pore pressure, which is denoted by the letter US. So pore water pressure ni U ane kada represent chestunnamo. Since it is static pore water pressure, I am using the notation S here, and comma sigma 1 minus sigma 3 divided by 2. ఇక్కడ ఎందుకమ్మా మైనస్ యూఎస్ చేయలేదు? ఇక్కడ ఎందుకు షియర్ స్ట్రెస్ తో పాటు మాత్రం స్టాటిక్ పోర్ ప్రెషర్ ని సబ్ట్రాక్ట్ చేయలేదు నేను? వై డిడ్ ఐ సబ్ట్రాక్ట్ హియర్? కెన్ ఎనీవన్ గెస్?
Total stress.
This is total stress path, but here total stress path minus static pore pressure is there, no? ఉత్త నార్మల్ స్ట్రెస్ లో మాత్రం సబ్ట్రాక్ట్ చేశాను, దీంతో సబ్ట్రాక్ట్ చేయలేదు. ఎందుకు సబ్ట్రాక్ట్ చేయలేదు? See, actually how this one would be, ఇది ఎలా రాస్తాము? స్టాటిక్ పోర్ ప్రెషర్ ని మేజర్ ప్రిన్సిపల్ స్ట్రెస్ తో మైనర్ ప్రిన్సిపల్ స్ట్రెస్ తో సబ్ట్రాక్ట్ చేయాలి. సో సిగ్మా 1 మైనస్ యుఎస్ అని ఉండొచ్చు, ప్లస్ సిగ్మా 3 మైనస్ యుఎస్ హోల్ డివైడెడ్ బై 2 అని ఉంటది కదా. హియర్ హౌ ఇట్ వుడ్ బి? సిగ్మా 1 minus US plus, and then take this one as minus sigma 3 minus US whole divided by 2. ఇలా కదా ఉంటది. So if you ask me to simplify this, so how will it be? Sigma 1 plus sigma 3 by 2 your total stress components minus ఇక్కడ minus US by 2 ఉంది, ఇక్కడ ఒక minus US by 2 ఉంది. So half plus half gives me minus US. Okay, comma here sigma 1 minus US is there. Here if I remove the brackets, then minus of minus will become plus. So minus US and plus US will get cancelled. Okay, so sigma 1 minus sigma 3 divided by 2. Okay, could you understand? In the same way, even here also you can see here total effective stress part there, no? So in effective stress part, when you consider the normal stress, then it will be in under effective condition. Whereas if you consider the shear stress component, sigma 1 minus sigma 3 dashes by 2, then this one and this one are same. ఎందుకంటే ఇక్కడ కూడా సేమ్ ఫినామినానే అయ్యింది. సో ఇక్కడ మైనస్ యూ వస్తుంది, ఇక్కడ ప్లస్ యూ వస్తుంది, రెండు క్యాన్సిల్ అయిపోయింది. సో sigma 1 bar minus sigma 3 bar by 2 anna, sigma 1 minus sigma 3 by 2 anna same. Okay, so just make a note of it. So sigma 1 minus sigma 3 by 2 is equal to sigma 1 bar minus sigma 3 bar by 2. ఎందుకంటే ఇక్కడ పోర్ వాటర్ ప్రెషర్ మైనస్ ఉంటది, ఇక్కడ ప్లస్ ఉంటది, రెండు క్యాన్సిల్ అయిపోయింది. Just make a note of it. And which is P and which is Q here? So all these components are P. ఇదన్నీ P తీసుకుంటారు. I'm sorry. All these components are P and all these components are Q. Okay. And we will see a generalized stress path diagram or different loading and unloading condition. So in the field, suppose if this is the soil sample and here my sigma 3 is acting. Instead of sigma 3, it is acting in the horizontal direction. No, suppose if your sigma 3 is the horizontal stress acting on the soil and your sigma 1 is the vertical load acting on the soil, okay, then it could be represented like ఇది ఒక soil element and sigma is the vertical load and sigma h is the horizontal stress acting on the soil, and this vertical and horizontal stresses are major and minor principal stresses. అప్పుడు మనం స్ట్రెస్ పాత్ డ్రా చేసేటప్పుడు కూడా ఈ మేజర్ కి మైనర్ కే కదా డ్రా చేస్తాము. సో సిగ్మా బి సిగ్మా హెచ్ కి డ్రా చేస్తాం. సో అప్పుడు ఎంటైర్ గా పైకి చూసాం కదా నోటేషన్స్. ఇన్ ఆల్ దీస్ నోటేషన్స్ ఇన్స్టెడ్ ఆఫ్ 1 I will be using B and instead of H I will be instead of 3 I will be using the notation H, right? So in the field, if I keep on applying increasing the vertical load, what does it mean? So if I keep on increasing the vertical load, then I will be compressing the soil, no? So when I keep on increasing the load, then I will be compressing the soil parts in the vertical direction. So I will be pressing it, squeezing it in the vertical direction. So vertical loading or this vertical loading is nothing but vertical compression. So ఇలా compression ఎప్పుడు చేస్తాం మనం soil ని vertical compression? Can you give me any example? ఎప్పుడు increase చేస్తాం load ని? When you construct any structure, suppose if you are constructing a 4-story building, so first foundation వేసినప్పుడు కొంచెం vertical load act అయ్యింది soil కి. Then you will be constructing the first floor, then you will be increasing the vertical load. So second floor ki inka increase avutundi, third floor you will be keep on increasing the vertical load. So the soil will get compressed kada. So vertical compression indicates the first case which am I going to draw now. So దీని ఎలా Mohr circle or stress path ద్వారా ఎలా represent చేసేదని చూస్తాం. So as usual, so see, I told you, right? So confinement will not increase. So when you start constructing your building, your lateral confinement sigma h will remain constant. Only the vertical load coming from the building will be keep on increasing. So అప్పుడు ఏమైందంటే your stress path will be like this. So sigma 3 constant గా ఉంటుంది, sigma 1 మాత్రం increase అవుతూ ఉంటుంది. If you draw number of such Mohr circles, so first story కట్టేటప్పుడు ఒక Mohr circle డ్రా చేయండి, second story కి ఒక Mohr circle. In that way, if you keep on drawing, then your stress path will be like this. Okay, so which is constant over here? Hello? Your sigma h is constant. Your lateral confinement is constant. Okay. So in this graph, what is taken on the x-axis? P is taken on the x-axis. And Q as usual on the y-axis. What is P? P is sigma h plus sigma v by 2. And what is Q? Sigma h minus sigma v divided by 2. Okay, so let me extend the graph like this. So here this is one point A. So from A, if I keep this sigma h constant and if I keep on increasing the vertical stress, then my stress path will follow this way. Okay, and similarly, if I keep my vertical stress constant and only the horizontal stresses keep on increasing, so horizontal stress matram increase avutu vastundi, appudu emayyidi? So in that case, only the horizontal way, horizontal stresses keep on decreasing. Okay, so whatever the load which is acting on the soil in the lateral direction is removed. Okay, ఇక్కడ ఒక కన్ఫైన్మెంట్ ప్రొవైడ్ చేస్తున్నావు కదా, దాన్ని నేను డిక్రీజ్ చేస్తూ వస్తున్నాను. సో ప్రీవియస్లీ దిస్ కన్ఫైన్మెంట్ is kept constant and your vertical load is increased, just like your building construction. So అప్పుడు ఏమైందంటే your stress path is following like this. Then what I did is my vertical load is constant, but the lateral confinement is removed. అప్పుడు ఏమయ్యిద్దంటే your stress path will follow a way like this. Okay, so here sigma v is constant, but your horizontal stress is decreased. Okay, appudu nee path ila follow ayindi. Idi ekkada jarigidante during a retaining wall construction. So suppose if you construct a retaining wall and if the wall is moving away from the soil, so retaining wall is a wall which is constructed to retain the soil mass. And if this retaining wall, you could have seen such kind of walls beside your roadways. Okay, so regarding retaining wall, we will be discussing in the further sessions. Okay, so if such wall moves away from your soil or away from the backfill, then here actually this retaining wall is to provide some containment. If this wall is moving away, then what happens? The soil mass, whatever is present here, will be released, no? So your horizontal stress is actually decreasing. So your delta H is decreasing here. So it is actually decreasing. Okay, here actually delta V is increasing. Okay, so your stress path will follow this way. Dini first path and తీసుకుంటాము, and this is a second way of path. Now, so this is loading and Japan, whereas here it is an unloading phase because your horizontal stress is decreased. So unloading. So similarly, this wall, if this retaining wall which is holding the soil is moving towards the backfill or moving towards the soil, so wall ఈ backfill కి దగ్గరికి వెళ్తుంది, అప్పుడు ఏమయ్యింది? నీ horizontal stress increase అవుతూ వస్తుందా? So your horizontal stress will be increasing. So your passive earth pressure condition will occur. So ఈ wall away అయ్యిందంటే active earth pressure condition అంటారు. So if this wall moves towards the soil, then that indicates passive earth pressure condition. Okay, so దీనికి ఎందుకు యాక్టివ్ ఎందుకు ప్యాసివ్ అని నేమ్ పెట్టారంటే, I'll give you a simple theory because you do not know యాక్టివ్ అండ్ ప్యాసివ్ ఎర్త్ ప్రెషర్స్ నో. సో యాక్టివ్ అంటే సాయిల్ యాక్టివ్ గా ఉంటుంది. సో ఇప్పుడు ఈ వాల్ ఇలా బయటకు వచ్చేసింది అనుకో, సాయిల్ అంతా ఏమైంది, జారి కిందకి వస్తుంది. సో సాయిల్ విల్ బి ఇన్ యాక్టివ్ కండిషన్. దట్స్ వై దే నేమ్డ్ ఇట్ యాజ్ యాక్టివ్ ఎర్త్ ప్రెషర్ కండిషన్. సో వెన్ దిస్ వాల్ ఇస్ మూవింగ్, అప్పుడు ఎవరు పవర్ఫుల్, వాల్ ఇస్ పవర్ఫుల్, యువర్ సాయిల్ ఇస్ ఇన్ అ ప్యాసివ్ స్టేట్. సో వాల్ ఇలా మూవ్ అయితే దాన్ని passive condition అంటారు. Okay, so when the wall moves towards the soil, then it is passive. So wall moves, so away ante soil padtadi, soil will be moving, so then it is called active condition. So when wall moves towards soil anta powerful ledu, wall ke ekku power ఉంది, so that indicates passive condition. So in case of passive, here the wall is pressing the soil mass, so your horizontal stress will be keep on increasing. So here the soil will get loaded because the wall is pressing the soil mass. So your stress path will be like this. Okay, so this indicates active earth pressure condition, whereas this one indicates passive earth pressure condition. Okay, so let us name this path as 4 and తీసుకుంటాము. So I'll draw the third one also. So here this is unloading, whereas this one is also loading because the soil mass is loaded here. Okay, in the same way, if I keep on doing unloading, okay, then another stress path will be there. So unloading ante sigma V is here, sigma H is constant, but sigma V is decreased. Ikkada em chesanu, sigma V ni increase chesanu. So whereas here my sigma H is kept constant, but my sigma V is decreased. Okay, so this one will also follow an unloading phase. So this is also an unloading phase. Here sigma H is constant, whereas my sigma V is decreasing. So my vertical load is decreasing. So vertical load oka ground undamma, oka ground meeda unna vertical load eppudu decrease ayyidi. See, this is a ground in a soil element. How, when the vertical load will decrease, a ground surface is there. Okay, so at a depth of 3 meters, so soil will be having some amount of overburden. So when that overburden will be decreasing, when the vertical load will decrease, when you do which operation, the vertical load will decrease. Just cheppandi, practically you just think. ఒక 3 meter depth లో ఒక సాయిల్ మాస్ ఉంది, దాని మీద ఎప్పుడు వర్టికల్ లోడ్ తగ్గింది? What? Hello? Hello? Yes, you can. I can't hear you. Hello?
Ma'am, cutting. Hello.
Cutting, or I can say like excavation, right? So when
Yes,
I
yes,
do
sir.
excavation, then vertical load will decrease. Whereas if I construct a building, then vertical load increase, right? Okay, so sigma V, if sigma V increases, then it follows the stress path 1. If sigma V decreases, or when your soil is undergoing some excavation activity above, then vertical load will decrease. So excavation జరిగేటప్పుడు ఇలా decrease అవుతూ రావచ్చు. Okay, so here you could see it is your sigma H is remaining constant because during excavation you are not disturbing any confinement. Instead, you are just removing the vertical load. So sigma V is being decreased. So then that follows this phase. Okay, so let me draw the failure envelopes. So ఇప్పుడు నేను failure envelope draw చేశానంటే I will get this line. So in the same way, let me draw the failure envelope here also. So I'm not drawing properly. So just imagine this as a straight line. Okay, so this is a straight line, and both this loading phase as well as unloading phase, here also loading and unloading phase is joining my failure envelope. See, in case of normal sigma and tau graph, this envelope is called failure envelope. Whereas here we plotted this failure envelope in P and Q graph. So if this failure envelope is drawn in P and Q graph, they are called modified failure envelope indicated as KF line. So ఈ line ni KF line అంటాము. So during unloading phase also there will be a maximum ultimate point where your excavation may fail. The same way the passive earth pressure condition also will reach the ultimate point over here. అలాగే యాక్టివ్ ఎర్త్ ప్రెషర్ కైనా మీరు బిల్డింగ్ కన్స్ట్రక్ట్ చేసినా it will resume a maximum point. So that point is actually indicated by this intersection with failure envelopes. Okay, ఈ line ni KF line అంటారు. So just you have to understand how the stress is varied. So దీన్ని ఎలా గుర్తు పెట్టుకోవచ్చు అంటే you have to correlate with a practical consideration. So practical consideration తీసుకోవాలి. So to get the line A1, then you have to consider vertical loading from the building. Okay, so whereas to get A2 line, it is an active earth pressure condition which happens because of the construction of retaining wall. So when a retaining wall is constructed and when the wall moves away from the backfill, then horizontal stress decreases. So delta H will be decreasing. So appudu మీ more failure envelope ఏ path follow అయ్యిందంటే, so that is indicated by this A2 line. In the same way, if this wall moves towards the backfill, then passive earth pressure condition will happen as your delta H will be keep on increasing. Okay, so in the same way, when you do excavation activity, sigma V will be decreasing and your path will be following this way. Okay, so each stress path and during each practical consideration is more important. Last year they have actually asked a question from this topic. Okay, that's why I thought to emphasize this one. Okay, so as of now it may be quite difficult for you to understand since active and passive earth pressures are not known to you. So once we have gone through those topics, once again come back to the stress path and revise it, you can understand better. Okay, and see, in the upper half or on the positive axis you can see vertical compression because vertical load is increased. Okay, so this upper half indicates vertical compression, whereas this lower half actually indicates vertical extension. So ఇక్కడ ఏమైందంటే, so as usual this is your sigma V and this is sigma V, and here you will be having sigma H and this is your sigma H. In case of vertical extension, see vertical extension ante entama, vertical compression ante vertical y direction lo length of your soil element will be decreasing. So soil will be undergoing some amount of settlement. vertical extension ante enti? So your soil will be extending in the vertical direction. So soil will be elongated in the lateral direction. అది ఎప్పుడు feasible అయ్యిద్ది? When you could elongate the soil. ఇలా సాయిల్ elongate చేయాలంట. ఎలా చేయొచ్చు? You cannot apply tensile load. Only possible phenomena is increase the horizontal stress. If you keep on increasing the horizontal stress, so if you laterally try to squeeze the soil element, then the soil element will elongate, no? So appudu lateral ga adi squeeze avvalante em undali? Sigma h must be greater than sigma v. If this condition is achieved, then you could witness vertical extension. Okay, whereas here in the first case, sigma v is actually greater than, so your sigma v is greater than sigma h. That's why your soil is getting compressed here. Lateral direction lo unnadanikaana vertical direction lo unnadi ekku untadi. So your soil is getting compressed. Whereas in the next case, lateral direction lo pressure ekku untundi, vertical direction lo takku untundi. So that's why your soil is witnessing some vertical extension. Okay, so that's it regarding stress part. So next topic is vertical stress due to concentrated load. Okay, so with this your shear strength part is over. Now we move on to the next topic, which is vertical stress due to a concentrated load. So whenever you apply load on the surface of the ground, okay, so as usual, consider this as your ground surface. So this is your ground surface. And if you apply load at any point on the ground surface, so let Q be the load acting on the ground surface. So how much is its intensity at the deeper soil layers? So ఇప్పుడు 100 kPa లోడ్ నేను ప్రెషర్ నేను సర్ఫేస్ లో అప్లై చేస్తున్నానంటే how far its intensity will be acting? So will it be there at 100 meters? So will it be there at 200 meters? No, right? So it has some maximum extension. So ఎంత వరకు ఈ నేను అప్లై చేసిన లోడ్ తో ఇంపాక్ట్ ఉంది. Okay, so suppose I'll give you a practical example. So a group of people are standing in a queue like this. Okay, some 100 number of people are standing in a queue. So if I hit or if I move the person who is standing first in the row, then this person will give some impact to him, and this one will disturb this second person. ఇలా డిస్టర్బ్ చేస్తూ వస్తారు. సో ఇలా మొత్తం పడిపోతారా ఏంటి మూవీస్ లో చూపించేలాగా? నో, రైట్? సో ఓన్లీ మై push will be there up to certain number of persons. So beyond that, the person who was standing there could not experience my impact. Okay, so in the same way, in soil also, the soil layers which are closer to your load point of load acting will experience more intensity, whereas if you go deeper and deeper soil layers, the intensity will get minimized and at some point it is totally nullified. Okay, so మన ఇక్కడ ఏం స్టడీ చేయాలంటే how far the intensity of load is actually acting. సో ఇప్పుడు ఇక్కడ ఎంత ఉంటది, ఇక్కడ ఎక్కువ ఇంపాక్ట్ ఉంటది, ఇక్కడ ఎక్కువ ఇంటెన్సిటీ ఆఫ్ లోడ్ ఉంటది. whereas if I move here, the intensity decreases. If I move deeper, it further decreases. సో అప్పుడు ఆ ఇంటెన్సిటీ ఎలా డిక్రీజ్ అవుతుంది? సో నేను ఇచ్చే గివెన్ డెప్త్ లో ఎంత లోడ్ యాక్ట్ అవుతుందని నాకు తెలియాలి. ఓకే, సో దట్ ఈస్ వాట్ బీయింగ్ డిస్కస్డ్ ఇన్ vertical stress due to concentrated load. And this theory, whatever we are going to discuss now, is given by the scientist, and he has proposed elastic theory for this study. So Boussinesq is the scientist who has proposed this vertical stress acting at a point underneath deeper soil layer due to the concentrated load acting at the surface. And he has considered soil as an elastic medium, because if you consider soil as plastic, then it will be quite difficult to do analysis and to arrive at any calculation. అందుకోసం బొసినస్ ఏం తీసుకున్నారంటే సాయిల్ ఇస్ అన్ ఎలాస్టిక్ ఐసోట్రోపిక్ మీడియం అని తీసుకున్నారు. ఐసోట్రోపిక్ అంటే all the property of the soil remains same in all directions. Okay, so he has proposed this theory based on few assumptions. The soil is isotropic and the medium is elastic, and Q is the load which is acting at the surface. So now see, let us consider a point at the deeper soil layers. So నేను ఒక point తీసుకుంటున్నాను somewhere randomly over here. So P and ఒక point తీసుకుంటున్నాను. So at the point P, how much is the intensity due to the load Q is acting? Okay, and what is the application of this vertical stress? ఇది ఎందుకు మనం చదవాలి? So you might have heard when you are constructing a building that if it is a street and if one minute, let me draw on a separate paper. The number of buildings are there in a street. So here is one building and here is another building. Actually, GHMC has proposed that these two buildings must maintain a sufficient distance between them. Okay, so there must be an enough space between the two buildings when they are being constructed. So ee building the load ikkada act avuthundi, ee building the load ikkada act avuthundi. Why are we supposed to maintain this enough space between two buildings? Enduku maintain cheyali? First point is they should have easy transport or easy air ventilations undali. So air circulation proper ga undalante enough gap untene air circulation proper ga untadi. If two buildings are adjacent to each other, then air circulation will not be there, and adi oka problem. And also whenever there is an accident, your vehicle, your fire engine has to go around the building so as to put off fire. So that is one point. So what is the major concern as a soil engineer or a geotechnical engineer? Endiki sufficient space ivvali. So there comes this vertical stress distribution. Why in the sense? Because of this building, suppose this is building A and this is building B. During construction of building A, you might have calculated the bearing capacity of soil. So bearing capacity ani oddu, you might have taken the strength of soil. Why in the sense? As of now, you did not study bearing capacity, no? So no strength calculate chesinta. Suppose ee building lo nunchi oka 100 units load ostundi. Okay, so this soil could withstand a load up to 150 and తీసుకుంటాం. 150 units of load the soil could withstand and తీసుకుందాం. So now you are on the safer side and you have constructed this building and this building is staying safe. Now the building B is being constructed on the ground. So for constructing the building B, 90 units of 90 unit of load is being transferred to the soil. So the soil has a bearing capacity of 150. So as usual, the building B will also stay stable. But the thing is, see, this is building A, this is building B. So soil ke elago capacity enta undi 150. So both the buildings are giving lesser loads only. So appudu ikkada unna soil withstand cheyali kada? No, the soil will not withstand. Why in the sense? See, up to here only the building load is acting. Building A building's load is acting exactly underneath the building A. So ikkada B to load matram act avutundi. So no problem at all. But the point is, this load distribution will not be exactly vertical as you move to the deeper soil layers. Instead, it has its distribution like this. So the pressure bulb antaru. So regarding pressure bulb, we'll discuss later. Okay, so e load to intensity enta varaku undi. So this one will be having its intensity over here. The same way, if I draw a pressure bulb or if I draw the zone where the intensity of load B is felt, so it will be like this. Okay, appudu emaindi? Between these two buildings at this point, there is an intersection. Okay, So at this intersection, what happened? So ఈ building లో నుంచి 100 units వచ్చింది, and from this building some 90 units of intensity might have came. So అప్పుడు రెండు కలిపి ఇక్కడ ఈ intersecting portion లో 190 units of load వచ్చి ఉండొచ్చు. ఎగ్జాక్ట్ గా 190 రాదు. సో ఇఫ్ యూ గో డీపర్ అండ్ డీపర్, దీంట్లో నుంచి ఒక 90 వచ్చిందని తీసుకుంటాం, దీంట్లో నుంచి ఒక 80 వచ్చిందని తీసుకుంటాం. సో సమ్వేర్ అరౌండ్ 170 వస్తుంది. కానీ మన సాయిల్ తో బియరింగ్ స్ట్రెంత్ ఎంత? 115. సో ద సాయిల్ కుడ్ నాట్ బియర్ ద లోడ్. సో సపోజ్ దీంట్లో నుంచి ఎంత వస్తుందని చెప్పాను? 90 వస్తుందని చెప్పాను. అండ్ దిస్ బిల్డింగ్ బి ఇస్ కంట్రిబ్యూటింగ్ సమ్వేర్ అరౌండ్ 80 టు దిస్ రీజన్. ఎందుకంటే డీపర్ గా పోయేటప్పుడు 100 ఎగ్జాక్ట్ రాదు, సో కొంచెం తక్కువ అయింది. సో ఈ ప్లేస్ లో ఏమవుతుంది? బోత్ ది లోడ్స్ are intersecting or overlapping at this region. So this region of soil is facing a total load of 170 units. So then ఇది ఏమైంది? దీంతో కెపాసిటీ ఎంత? 115. సో ఎంటైర్ సాయిల్ కుడ్ బియర్ ఓన్లీ 150, కానీ ఇక్కడ 170 వస్తుంది. సో దట్ ద సాయిల్ మాస్ ఫెయిల్. అప్పుడు ఏమైందంటే ఇక్కడ సెటిల్మెంట్ జరగటానికి ఛాన్సెస్ ఉంది. ద టూ బిల్డింగ్స్ మే కేవ్ ఇన్ ఆర్ టోపుల్ డౌన్ ఆర్ intersect each other, okay, or collide each other. Okay, so that's why GHMC is suggesting or emphasizing that you have to maintain sufficient space between two buildings. You can ask me, madam, our houses are staying closer to each other for the past 20 years and we are not facing any difficulty. So what would be the reason? There are many houses which are staying closer to each other, but still they are staying as such for longer years. Endukala undi? Because there the soil strength may be even more higher. Okay, so suppose soil to strength ilage same case lone 150 అని తీసుకుంటా. Okay, suppose your building load is just 50. Okay, from this building again a load of 40 is coming, and if you draw a pressure bulb and if you draw another pressure bulb, so ikkada combined ga తీసుకుంటే కూడా 90 నే వస్తుంది. So since the load coming from the superstructure is lesser than the capacity of soil, here the soil is withstanding, whereas here it is combined effect is more. That's why the building has collapsed. So tall story structures construct చేసేటప్పుడు this point has to be kept in mind. అందుకోసమే అపార్ట్మెంట్ కన్స్ట్రక్షన్ అప్పుడు దీన్ని ఎక్కువ ఎంఫసైజ్ చేస్తారు, బికాస్ అపార్ట్మెంట్స్ మే బి హ్యావింగ్ 10 story 11 story అలా ఉంటది. అండ్ ఆల్సో ఫ్యాక్టరీ బిల్డింగ్స్, ఎందుకంటే ఫ్యాక్టరీ సైట్స్ లో ఏముంటదంటే దర్ మే బి ప్లేస్ కన్స్ట్రైంట్స్, అండ్ ఫర్ ఈజీ ట్రాన్స్పోర్ట్ ఆఫ్ మెటీరియల్స్ ఫ్రమ్ వన్ బ్లాక్ టు ది అదర్ బ్లాక్ దే మే కన్స్ట్రక్ట్ దేర్ బిల్డింగ్స్ క్లోజర్ టు ఈచ్ అదర్. సో స్పేస్ సేవ్ చేయాలని అలా చేస్తారు. సో ఇన్ దోస్ కేసెస్ vertical stresses acting on soil has to be considered. So stress intensity at a given point, how much you have to study. So simply measuring the soil strength and simply calculating the building load will not at all ensure the safety. You have to go to the site and see how the surroundings are. Okay, and you have to ensure how much intensity is coming at the particular point under consideration. So a famous example is there in soil mechanics because of this pressure bulb failure. So two silos are constructed at a factory location. So silos ante entama, so cement factories lo untadi kada, to store cement. So two silos are constructed next or closer to each other. So because of the overlapping of pressure bulb, one silo totally collapsed and fall above the other one. So ఇది చాలా కామన్ geotechnical engineering example for this pressure bulb consideration. So after completing this session, you just go through that example also. Okay. So now let us come back to our derivation. So Q is the point load acting at the point on the ground surface. And we are interested to calculate how much is the pressure intensity the soil is facing at the point P. Okay. So if point P and Japan, then I need to define its location. No. So P ekkada exact ga undi. So from the ground surface, point P is at a depth of Z. Okay. So from ground surface, the point P is at the depth of Z, and just extend this Q vertically down up to my P. Okay. And see here, this is a plane. So here you have a plane on which your load Q is acting. So just try to imagine this figure in 3 dimension. So ఒక plane ఉంది, ఆ plane లో Q is the load acting at the point O అని తీసుకుంటాం. So in the same way, your P is another plane at a deeper depth. ఎంత depth అంటే Z అనే depth లో ఉంది. So here also another plane is there. So in that plane, the point P is located. So this, if I take the radial distance between the point O and point P, so it has a radial distance of R. So R is the radial distance. Okay. And if I consider this as origin O, then the distance here, the horizontal distance is taken as X, whereas the vertical distance, so not the vertical distance, vertical is actually Z. So x-axis అనేది ఇలా ఉంటది, y-axis అనేది perpendicular to the plane of paper. So y la distance చూస్తే ఇక్కడ, this is y distance. So x-axis is like this and y-axis is like this. So radial distance is R. Okay. And if I take radial distance in the vertical plane, then that will be denoted by the letter. Okay. So if I take radial distance between P and R in the vertical plane, then that is denoted by the letter capital R. Okay. So just understand the figure properly first. So in the plane which is at the ground surface, your point load Q is located at the origin O. Then there is a plane, another plane which is at the depth Z below the soil layer or below the ground layer. So this P is at a radial distance in the vertical plane by the distance capital R. So axial distance to stay from x-axis, it is at the distance X, y-axis the Y, and radial ga chuste R. So what is R is equal to, can anyone tell me? ఇక్కడ ఎలాగో x and y axis కి మధ్యలో 90 degree ఉంటది. What is small r is equal to? So your small r square is equal to x square plus y square and racha from Pythagoras theorem. In the same way, what your capital R is? So your capital R or capital R square is equal to x square plus y square plus z square. Okay. So what is capital R square then? R square plus z square. Okay. And otherwise, I can write capital R is equal to root of R square plus z square. Okay. So Bossinus, he has proposed that the radial stress acting at the point P because of the load acting at the ground surface as, so he has measured or from his study, he has concluded that the radial stress. So stress ante sigma ani mention chestamu. Since it is radial stress, he has used the notation R. So radial stress is equal to 3 by 2 pi Q cos beta by capital R. You can ask me, where is this cos beta? Cos beta is actually this inclination of the point P from the vertical axis. So Q cos beta by R into 3 by 2 pi is the radial stress acting at the point. So if this is beta, tell me how much is your sin beta equal to? How much is your sin beta? So tell me in terms of small r and capital R. X and Y anta oddu. Small r, capital R terms lo cheppandi. So this is sin beta. And see here it is like obtuse angle. Actual ka idi 90 degree. So just imagine in 3 dimension. Two planes are vertically one below the other. So apdi ikkada 90 degree ne kada form ayi untadi. So this is 90 degree. Now tell me how much is your sin beta equal to? Sin beta is equal to small r by capital R. And what's your cos beta equal to? Cos beta is equal to adjacent by hypotenuse. So your adjacent side is actually capital Z by your hypotenuse is again R. So Z by R. So this is your adjacent side, no? So ikkada same untadi because it's a plane just exactly below. Appudu idi వేరే distance కాదు. సో ఇక్కడ కూడా z distance ఏ ఉంటది. ఈ పాయింట్ కూడా z distance ఏ ఉంటది. ఇక్కడ 2 డైమెన్షన్ లో డ్రా చేసిన దాని వల్ల ఈ లెంత్ వేరే, ఈ రెడ్ కలర్ దాని మీద లెంత్ వేరే అని కనిపించొచ్చు. బట్ దే ఆర్ ఎగ్జాక్ట్లీ బిలో కదా. సో మీరు ఒక you just keep two notebooks one above the other, then you can understand better. Okay. So now I wish to know how much is the stress exactly vertically above the point P. So let us denote that stress as, because in the question itself we wish to derive how much is the vertical stress acting at the point P because of the concentrated load acting on the ground surface. Kada? So appudu sigma Z is the vertical stress acting at the point P, which is at the depth Z, is equal to, so this one was also given by Boussinesq, sigma R cos square beta ani propose chesaru. So vertical stress is radial stress into cos square beta. Endukante radial stress anedi along this line it is acting. So if he has resolved it, then he will get it as sigma R cos square beta ani vastadanta. So what is sigma R actually? 3 by 2 pi Q cos beta. So ikkada cos beta undi, ikkada cos square beta undi, rendu mix multiply cheste cos cube beta vastadi divided by R is there. Okay. So 3 by 2 pi R Q cos cube beta ochindi. So now just substitute what is cos beta is equal to Z by R. So 3 by 2 pi Q is also there. Your cos cube is Z cube by R cube into, sorry, here sigma R equal to 3 by 2 by Q cos beta by R square it is. Okay. So here also R square is there. So now 1 by R square will be there. Okay. Finally, your sigma Z is equal to 3Q by 2 pi Z cube by R power 5. So with this you can stop the derivation. But the thing is, they have gone for further simplification because the load acting at the surface will not change. This 3, 2 pi, everything is constant. Okay, so only this depth and radial distance will vary. So let us rearrange it further better. So if I rearrange it, what is r power 5 is equal to, or what is r is equal to 3q by 2 pi, and just substitute value for your r power 5. So r is nothing but root of small r square plus z square. This is small r is equal to whole power 5 is there. Okay? So now 3q by 2 pi, z cube is there, and see here I am going to take, so capital R anedi radial distance that you cannot measure. Endukante just go to field. So if you go to field, you can just know if q point ekkada undi, me point ekkada undani meeku distance maatrame vastadi. You could not get this radial distance. Ee radial distance anedi inside soil meer enta idi measure cheyaleru. So manaki cos ee beta ana angle kuda manaku teliyadu. So instead of that, we are replacing this capital R in terms of small r and z. Okay. So that's why we are making all these changes. So if I wish to take this z outside, so z square is taken outside, power 5 by 2 is there. So this one will be 1 plus r by z whole square will be there. So could you agree with me? Power 5 is also there. So now this square and 1 by 2 will get cancelled, and this one will become z power 5, whereas here z cube is there. So I could write it further as 3q 2 pi. So ikkada 3 undi, ikkada 5 undi. So denominator la z square అయిపోయింది into 1 by 1 plus r by z whole square whole power 5 by 2 is there. Okay, root ni ikkada 5 by 2 అని రాస్తున్నాను. Right. So here this is your sigma z. So sigma z is equal to actually IB by q by z square అన్నారు. What is this q by z square actually? So q by z square and IB is there. So what is this IB is? IB is actually the influence factor proposed by Bose-Dinner. So what is IB equal to? So equation la migata em andi. So your IB is actually is equal to 3 by 2 pi 1 plus r by z the whole square whole power 5 by 2 is there. So this derivation of calculating vertical stress is for point load. Okay, so for point load you can apply this equation and you have to follow this influence factor. So if it is a concentrated if it is an UDL, okay, so this equation will vary and only this influence factor will changes. Okay, అందుకోసమే ఈ ఫార్మాట్ లో తెచ్చుకున్నాము. So q by z square is actually the load divided by depth square. This IB is actually the influence factor. This influence factor actually depends on the type of loading acting at the surface. So if it is a circularly loaded area, IB varies. And if it is a square loading area, then it will vary. Okay. And also if it is a ring kind of loaded area, then it is. Okay. So at a given depth, how much amount of stress intensity is there because of the load acting at the surface could be calculated from this formula. Okay. So I hope you can understand this. So ఏం లేదమ్మా. సో సర్ఫేస్ లో ఒక లోడ్ యాక్ట్ అయితే పాయింట్ పి లో దాని ఇంటెన్సిటీ ఎంత ఉందని we have mathematically calculated. That's it. And from this equation you can give a conclusion also. So what is z? Z is actually depth. So if I keep on increasing z value, what happens to my vertical stress? Chandu, could you tell me? See, Z is increasing. Z value నేను ఇంక్రీజ్ చేస్తూ పోతున్నాను. అప్పుడు నా స్ట్రెస్ ఇంటెన్సిటీ ఏమైంది? If I increase Z, then what happens to my stress intensity?
Decreases.
Very good. It decreases. ఎందుకంటే డినామినేటర్ లో ఉంది కదా. So your stress intensity decreases. So when the depth, if you go to deeper and deeper layer, then your stress intensity decreases. That is what we have proposed in the very beginning itself. Okay. And that too, it will not decrease linearly. Instead, it decreases exponentially. So 1 meter లో ఉన్నది 2 meter లో exact half గా ఏం తగ్గదు. So it decreases exponentially. Z square ఉంది కదా denominator లో. That is one. Okay. So when depth increases, stress intensity decreases. That one you have to understand from this derivation.